Now, you mentioned Elias, Big Sexy, as Trav likes to call him. Obviously, from the sounds of it, one of the highlights. Any other guys that you can think of that you'd put on your Mount Rushmore of best fights you had in the Fed?
In that league, I mean, there's that. Me and Joe Pace had some bloodbaths. I would say, like, the fights I had with Joe were pretty special, especially in Mississippi when they played those neutral sites games when they were getting a team there, and that rink sold out, 10,000 people, and we had 5 or 6 wars in that rink. I think we ended up fighting 12 times that year or something. Dan Amesbury and I had a lot of good ones. Amesy probably, for a smaller guy, he's not a small man, but for his size, he hit the hardest out of anybody I've ever been punched by, for sure. I'm trying to think. Pacer and Amesy and Elias and Justin Coachman, who was actually my coach in Watertown at the end there. Him and I had a few good ones, and him and I, the 2 fights we had, there was such mutual respect. And the first one was in Watertown. I was with Columbus, and I split him open. We just butted heads, and I split him open really bad. He was spurting blood, and I grabbed him, and I said, "Are you okay?" He goes, "I can't see, man." He's big, tall. He's about 6'4". So like, "Are you okay?" And I can't see it. I'm like, "Okay." And I called the refs in. And then when I was with, I don't know if I was with Elmira, and he was in Binghamton a couple years later, and we had another one, and he ended up dropping me behind the ear. And when I came up, I was kind of wobbly, and he was cocked, and he could have, my head could have landed in Wilkes-Barre or something, So he kind of gave me a little bit of leeway because of the respect I showed him, 3 years earlier.
Well, it's interesting. I mean, there's been lots of books, there's been lots of documentaries about the respect that you guys have amongst each other. But there's got to be a handful of times where there has nothing to do with respect. You're just out there and you're out to beat the wheels off the guy. And are you able to make that distinction before you get into it?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think of an example. A funny one was Chav, you played in Detroit.
Yep.
Tommy Cardinal was in Motor City. Little he's actually in the first league here in Quebec now. And
he still owes me $20.
Doesn't everybody owe everybody in the Fed?
Tommy, I'm kidding. I love you. Carry on with the story, Schmitty.
I got so many IOUs out there.
I still owe Everett Thompson, I think 30 by now with inflation. But anyway, carry on with the story.
We were in Columbus, and Whitey was my roommate.
Ian White.
Yeah. And he flew down, like they were playing us Friday, Saturday. So Whitey and his wife Tennille flew to flew to Atlanta on Monday, and I drove to Atlanta and picked him up, and they stayed at the house all week, just so, me and Whitey got to spend some time together because he's, one of my best friends. And so we hung out all week, and then like Friday night we went to the game together, and then, okay, we'll have a good game later. And Everett Thompson ran Braden Colgan, and Thompson got kicked out, and I'm standing there. It was already like 5-0, and I was yelling at Detroit's bench, and I was like, somebody's gonna have to hold the line for that. And everyone kind of put their heads down, and I'm like, if nobody steps up, I'm gonna rip Whitey's head off. And Tommy Cardinal jumps out, and I took my helmet off, and Tommy kept his Tommy go, "Fuck you, I'm not taking my helmet off." I got him, I had him down, and I probably could have let off on him at the end, but I was, what, you're fucking somebody's Everett Thompson owes you a case of beer for this one, buddy.
Hey, if you enjoyed what you just saw, we do new clips every single day, twice a day on the Clips channel. You see clips right here. And beside Dave's crotch, we have a full-length show every single Sunday, right by my hand.
Click right here.